to the 6, we be in the mix. With that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane, about to visit Glen Rock. Need crypto, told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix. With that rare candy paint job on the whip, who you with?
You know, Ryan comes up to me, our guest, and he's like, "Hey, makes me an offer," and I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." First off, we're never covering The Godfather. No Ginzo Wop is coming on our show to talk about The Godfather. And then he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I woke up, there was a horse head in my bed, and now all of a sudden we have a sponsored platform episode tier, which you guys can go to rcnow.org. The tiers are all there. If there's a subject you want us to cover, hey, bonus, you can even come on if you want to talk to us about that. All of those tiers are there. It's done through Cash App. Just email me at rarecandyindustries@gmail.com and we can get all this done. This is the first one. We're kicking it off here. It's very fun. I couldn't think of a better way to do it, to be honest. And Ryan, I thank you for being the first one to do this and to take it easy on us, because I know some people have some really heinous ideas for us. For some source material here, you have taken it quite easy on us.
Oh no, as a good soldato of the RC family, I had no choice but to make you an offer you couldn't refuse. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Johnny Fontaine he's not getting that part. Shout out to that guy's house. He had a sick ass house, the studio executive guy, the Hollywood guy. But easily as important as the request for us to review the source material, Ryan just said it has to happen this way, so that we have to get our. I hate to say he's our resident Italian, but I guess the last two times he's been on, so the thing is, we have Vincent on when we want to talk about smut sex books, Ingo Swann parapsychology, and then Italian mafia stuff. So you can't say that he's one note. So Vincent, thank you for doing that.
I contain multitudes, and I'm glad to be of service to the RC community.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Oh man. So like I said, guys, rcnow.org, you guys can get all the information there. So Ryan, why The Godfather? I mean, I know I know why you like Godfather 3. But and I'm sure you'll tell us all about you wish you were Mary Corleone's first cousin.
Oh, come on, though. I wanted to come up with some, given all of the horrible news we have.
Thank you.
And everything, I want to make some great point about this being, this is a model for masculinity and family and so on and so on and so on. No, the movies are just fucking badass.
Yep.
No, I use them to disconnect from all of that.
Yeah, I agree. And you've read the books, or a book, right?
I audiobooked it, and let's just be real and say the scalpel that Coppola took to the books, he didn't miss.
Yeah, because didn't Coppola say, Coppola is like on record saying, he's like, I don't even think the book's that good, but I mean Coppola needed a hit, and he was tapped on because they were like, hey, some Italian guy who can work with low budgets. Because there was a movie, and I'm forgetting the name, before that I believe Paramount had put out, and it was a mafia movie. And again, we laugh now because we think mafia stuff's easy to make, though there are a lot of dud mafia movies. So it's not that easy. It's not like more operating in the Marvel universe or something, like in those intellectual properties. Like you can make a really bad mafia movie. Many Saints of Newark is one of them, and they're operating in an IP that was already very successful. But you have Coppola, they're like this Italian man who wrote, I mean, they knew he could write because Coppola writes Patton, which is a masterpiece. I just saw Patton for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, oh, this isn't boring like Boomer slop. This is fantastic. This is like, in my opinion, it's what people claim Lawrence of Arabia is as a story. In my opinion. I know a lot of people love that film. I found Lawrence of Arabia to be a little tedious and overrated, but I find Patton to be like, wait, this is what I want. That's like this, Patton felt like this almost like, I feel sacrilegious saying this, but like one of those Soviet epics where like it doesn't matter, you can hire 9,000 people to go run around, like there's just no rules whatsoever. Tell the story of a very controversial man, which is essentially makes Coppola perfect to make The Godfather. But I think a lot of people don't understand that The Godfather was not just this, we need a softball, a home run of a movie, let's just do a mafia movie starring all these great stars, because they're not stars yet. None of these people are, besides Brando, who's a has-been at this point, it's actually a huge risk. And they made it for cheap-ish. They say it was about 14 million less than Paramount was going to spend on other movies. And let's take it to Godfather 1 to start out here. I don't want to be the most like, and the cinematography, like I know when people try to deconstruct it, I think there's so much magic happening on the screen for us as audience people to talk about, and these characters are real people to me. I'm sorry, I know that's midwit. A lot of people think that's cinematic midwittery, but I disagree. So Ryan, I'm going to kick it off to you. Godfather 1, just what sticks out to you right away?
The way that it is such a beautiful rite of passage movie that still holds, like you're never really all that happy when you watch the movie, because there is this sense of this gray overcast menace that just hangs over everything. And I started to try. This was tricky for me to approach, to come back to it. I mean, it's a movie I watch 15 times a damn year, but at the same time, I can't remember a time when I didn't know what was going to happen in the movie. So now everything is just, these are doomed Shakespearean figures with just this gray cloud hanging over them at all times. And yet it's so memorable. And it will still give you moments of joy. Like the wedding scene at the beginning of The Godfather. If that doesn't get you like out of your chair and, celebrating that, knowing even when you know that it's all downhill from here, it maintains just this place in my heart. And it's almost like I was watching clips from it today, obviously did, Gary the Potter or whatever. It's a sunny day in Minnesota. It feels wrong to watch the movie. Like I have to be hungover. It has to be, it goes. It's what I watch before college football starts on this gray, horrible Saturday in Minnesota.
That is quite the setting. I love it. That nice cheesecloth look of it. Like just to have as they say. I love the wedding scene. I know, again, I try not to get too like behind the scenes with a lot of these, because there's a million people, like Sam Wasson has like written books on Coppola. So many people have done so many things. That's not what I don't think any of us intend to do here. However, there are some cool factoids about the first Godfather. The mob didn't want it to happen. The mafia, tell me if you guys have heard this before. The mafia doesn't exist. However, if you make this movie, you're going to have problems. That's basically what they tell Bob Evans. I believe Al Ruddy, I think, is the producer of The Godfather. They tell these guys, like, hey, first off, you guys are talking about something that's not even real, but you guys can get in a lot of trouble if you do this without consulting us. So the mob is just soaking them. I felt like half the budget was just to fucking film in Little Italy, like be like, hey, wet the beak a little if you want to use this cannoli shop or whatever, it felt like a lot of that happening. Vincent, go ahead. I want to hear just your I'm sure you've seen this movie many times before this episode, but what's your genesis with it?
I mean, I came late to The Godfather. I'm trying to think when I first watched it. It was either my very late teens or like very early 20s, because it's one of those films that you have to see because it is such an epic and so universally acclaimed. But I think I came to it backwards because I'd seen a lot of things that were influenced by.
Sure.
And so then you go back and you see the source.
Yeah.
And I think my first viewing of it you know, I wasn't disappointed, but it felt a little slow. But that's because it has its own rhythm. It's not going at Scorsese cocaine pace, Goodfellas, where bam, bam, bam. It's a music video from start to finish.
Tracking, shot, cut,
yes.
Rolling Stones.
Yes.
You know, yeah, exactly.
You have to fall into it, and you do have to treat it like a great Shakespearean drama as opposed to some slice of life story. So if you have the patience and you can sit with it and you let it wash over you, you know, it can be very affecting and very moving. And it's just you can't dispute that it's great. It is a classic.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about my Genesis. I think I watched all of these on like Blockbuster rental, or I think it was when DVDs first came out. My mom bought like a 3-disc set of them, and we watched them. And I don't think I was supposed to watch it, but I think my mom's rationale was like vintage titties and vintage violence is allowed.
That blood is ketchup red. It's okay.
Titties from the past, and there's not that much nudity in The Godfather. I think it's just his Italian wife's titties, like once, like that. It's like, but like those that means like that. It's okay if it happened in the past. Like I was allowed to watch like Porky's, you know, a lot of these movies, like these smut movies that were just filth. You know, like, but if they were in the past, it was like, well, that's not real, and it doesn't matter. And I think at Fast Times at Ridgemont High, like I was allowed to watch all of these things where it's like, honestly, like they were a little more
raunchier than what you get today.
Yeah, exactly. So we watched them, and I was the same way. I just remember thinking like, man, get to the part where Sonny where Michael kills the police captain. Get to the part where you're like waiting for the moments, but you don't appreciate the buildups. You don't appreciate, because honestly, when you're 13 years old, you haven't made tough decisions in your life. I mean, blue raspberry versus fucking wild strawberry razzmatazz belts. You know what I mean? Like, what are you really making a tough decision on? But as an adult, you watch these things and you're just like, I know this whole thing, even Coppola himself, it's such a whatever. That's why I don't like to peek behind the curtain too much about these. It's like, well, I just, you know, these people are irredeemable. And I'm just like, well, what would you do? We're going to get you right back to the episode, but I just wanted to let you guys know of a few other things we offer at Rare Candy Industries. We have a Substack with free and paid subscription options. Free subscribers get access to all written content. That includes Bob's Red Pill. That's the best thing going on the internet right now. Trust me. Paid subscribers get full access to our premium episode feed. And that's just every episode we don't necessarily want to share with the general public, if you know what I'm saying. Again, that's rarecandy.substack.com. We also have merch. That link's a little long for me to say right now, but go to the description, go to our merch store, and find a shirt that's right for you. We have Rare Candy shirts, Dr. Bronner soap label shirts, Rishi mushroom shirts, all types of stuff there. Check it out. There's got to be something for you. And lastly, check us out on social media. On Instagram, we're Rare Candy Pod, but on Twitter, we're at Rare Candy Pod 1. All right, enough of that. Let's get you back into the episode. You know, like, what would you do if faced with this kind of situation? Like, you know, you come from a place where family is everything. You try to do something different than the family, but then, you know, you'll never be divorced from the family because you'll always see them suffering or hear about them suffering, and you're not doing anything. You don't want to be a Janice Soprano. Right. You know, like you could either
doesn't work out well for her either.
So. No. So you don't I love it. I still, you know, spoiler alert, I think 2 is just absolute perfect film from start to finish. I think Coppola takes an absolute like those aggressive cats when they eat the whole bowl of food at once. Like he did that with that movie because he knew he could. And by all means, people can't act like that was guaranteed to be a good movie either. A sequel. Yeah. How is that going to be good? Most of the time it isn't. And yeah, so exactly. And obviously I'm partial to the Tahoe, you know, exactly. gorgeous Tahoe stuff where Fredo's still fucking at the bottom of, you know, and it's, but yeah, with the first one, I think it's, you know, you come at it from like deep fried references of it as a kid. I'm going to make him an offer you can't refuse. You know, like you hear this all the time. You know, that's a thing when you're a kid because there have been many, because you watch Goodfellas. You watch all these other movies. Like I was talking off mic, the Animaniacs pigeon.
Good feathers.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched the shit out
It
of
was
it.
great. It was excellent. Yeah, it was the Animaniacs thing where even if you're a kid, you're like, I know this is a reference to something, but what?
Yes.
And one last thing before we start really breaking these down, I've come to realize like one thing, when you get super into movies, all you're doing is like finding a way to hate more movies than you like, which is always why I try not to be like
remain a fan, remain an amateur.
I try to watch as many as possible, but I usually like 70% of the things I watch, and then I talk to people who make films, all this stuff. They hate like 90% of the things they watch. Authors hate 90% of the things they read. It's just I love being a fan. And one thing I hate about going on film Twitter, film anything, is just like it's all these people trying to find something you've never heard of that's better than the known commodity. And again, Ryan and I are sports fans. There's a final score at the end. The Godfather wins. So it won. It covered the spread. Any metric that you think where they'll be like, no, actually this movie that's beautifully lit by Bong Joon-kwai, where it's two Korean people staring at each other for a fucking again, I like those movies. I like those type of movies too. But I just like people try so hard to shape reality. It's like, no, actually the frat guy with the poster of this is correct.
Yes.
And actually that's correct. Scarface is the same thing. Actually, that's correct. Actually, it's a movie you can put on for anybody and people will go, whoa.
Yes.
Oh,
So go ahead, Ryan.
I approach art and you've turned RC into the premier literary podcast among premier sports podcast, premier film podcast.
Sports we're not even close yet. You understand. I'm trying. That's going to take like 10 years. But yeah.
In there. But just having that app, like for me, it was shown to me as like this rite of passage movie in my family. We had it on probably 7 different medias. Like every time a new thing would come out, my tech obsessed IT dad would buy all 3 of these on Laserdisc and
all the media.
And it was still just like shown to me like it's almost felt like I was from that last generation where it's like, let's find out if he's gay. Let's watch the Godfather.
Let's test the waters.
Because it's the most tasteful nude. It's the most tasteful violence. Even though the violence is like borders on Looney Tunes, like comedic at times in a way, it's still understated enough. And at the same time, it also hit around the same time that I discovered Nas, which It Was Written album.
Sure, Mafioso rap.
Sampling like basically these like tarantellas from The Godfather. So every time I hear that gorgeous Nino Rota score, come up, all I hear is Fade Thug No Love, you get the slug.
Mac Dre's Mafioso, by the way, samples the theme too as well. Sipping martinis, eating scampi and linguine, making blunts disappear like I'm Houdini. That's exactly. It's just like it's amazing. Exactly, and there's a lot of people that I think people see this as like challenge accepted. I'm going to tell you why The Godfather's midwit nonsense. And it's like that. No, you didn't win. Actually, no, there's no explanation that can tell you that otherwise. Like I understand there's probably a lot of people that might be listening, be like, dude, nobody thinks that. Go on Twitter. Actually, don't go on Twitter. Just take my word for
please
it.
don't.
You will find. I know. Like, I feel like nobody talks about The Godfather when you go to like Letterboxd or any of these people. They don't talk about it. Like it's just this thing where it's like, well, yeah, duh, everyone likes that movie. It's like, yeah, but does anybody actually talk about it? Does anybody actually like Bret Easton Ellis and like Sam Watson, the only people I ever hear like really like give this movie some shine? Because I feel like people feel like exhausted, have fatigue over it. Whereas, and to me, Heat is the movie that gets the fatigue of like, that's actually the peak of cinema. It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is good, but
Yeah, it's not this. It's not this.
No,
Heat
not
is
at
a
all.
neo-western, is a neo-western that rocks. A neo-western epic that is ass kissing or kissing. People are ass kissing it, ass kicking. But it's great and everything. And so I'm kind of like a centrist on its hype. But in terms of this, I think you realize like one thing that pops out about this movie is pre-caricature of himself, Al Pacino. Can't touch him. Can't touch him. Before he turned to, she's got a great ass. Before he turned into that, Dustin Hoffman did the same thing. Jack Nicholson did the same thing. They all do it. It's totally fine. They become grandpas. They want to be silly on the camera. They go over the top. It's totally fine. But you know, to me, the cold Al Pacino deliveries,
it's so different.
And then finally, you're boiling. It's just boiling. Like you're waiting for the white. You're like, man, that water's sure taking a while. And the kid, like, is that going to be ready yet? And then all of a sudden, you're in my home. You know, like that's one of my favorite lines of the whole movie. And you're just like, you're floored. Like you're as scared as Frankie Pantangeli is in that scene. And you know, I think you know. I mean, De Niro in 2 is unreal. I mean, he's just so good. Brando and De Niro kind of existing spiritually as the same person, having the same mannerisms. And again, people can say, "Oh, that's nothing." No, it's something. It's great. It's I love. But let's focus on one for a little bit here. Yeah, the wedding scene. The wedding scene's great. They had real mobsters as extras there. That was kind of like a concession made, but it works. It looks authentic. Looks like a very authentic film that's happening there. You see Brando is, you know, the opening scene. Of course, he's talking to the Undertaker, who, you know, he goes, I can't imagine I'm going to need you at any point. But of course he does for his darkest day, you know, and it's sets the scene beautifully. I heard the execs were like, it's too dark in there and I can't hear what he's saying. But I love that we don't know. Like you watch it, you're like, you don't know. What the hell? What is this movie? It's a guy with a cat, and he's got like a John Waters mustache. Like, what is happening?
Oh, it's so beautiful. And that was Brando. And I know that you downplay the role of actors. And
I do.
Being a theater kid, I try to elevate actors, even especially when they are absolute blank slate, hard mode, like Brando needed a $1.6 million insurance policy taken out on him just in case he popped off and destroyed the, you know, just ruined things. But just the way, like, that this movie feels so much like a play. It can be a play. It can be even though some of the finest scenes, I mean, obviously your stage play is not going to have Lake Tahoe and this gorgeous compound and everything that they include in that. It still feels so theatrical. And that first scene is what cements that for me. You know, I believe in America. You know, just the first line. And you know, it just always just set the hook for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, and again, like Brando, it's the type of guy, like I've never really, I've obviously I see the talent, but I've never been into like the Tennessee Williams, Stella. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't like put those movies on. They're obviously like great. I'll never argue against their merit, but Brando, my two favorite things of him have been Coppola movies. I love him in Apocalypse Now. When he's overweight and he's not supposed to be, but he's still overweight and like fat guy that could slaughter the whole jungle. He's Colonel Kurtz from Heart of Darkness, like or whatever. Kurtz, the business trading post guy too from Heart of Darkness. He's so good in that, and he's magnificent with children in the movie. I mean, the scene where he croaks. And just with the orange peel, like genuinely scaring that kid, because you know that's what happened. He genuinely scared the kid.
That was an improvised scene.
Oh, it had to have been. I mean, you couldn't not improvise it. And like he just puts the thing in, and then you realize you're like, oh, that's sad because you know he's gonna die. Even if you haven't seen the movie, he's just showing these signs of how he's gonna die. But then you're also thinking, you're like, what better way to die?
Oh yeah.
Like chasing your grandson like who's laughing, who doesn't get it. He's not going to remember that. Like, he's too young. Like, he's just not going to, that's not going to, it's too young to traumatize him, but you're in your beautiful, beautiful garden. and you're running around. You've done everything you need to do. You didn't get whacked. You almost did, but you didn't get whacked. And you crow. And Brando brings the magic of all of that. And that is the magic of acting right there. Is like, just kind of like, wow, that's, because at first you're like, that's sad. He died. And then you're like, wait, it's not sad. That's the best way a mob boss can die.
Better than he deserves. And even though it feels, it's weird. I remember, and better than half the reason why I immediately had to get you guys to do this.
Yeah.
I was just regretting not being on the Sopranos episode. Just missed what you did in like the Discord, and
I did an open call.
I missed it. I must have just missed it because I was hungover or some bullshit. But like, it was when you say that we never root against Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
you never root against. I mean, the Corleone and
never.
And even the funniest part, like you mentioned, the mafia itself leaned on the producers of this film.
I know.
To depict Italians in this positive light, and it never feels forced. You're like, oh no, wait, no. All of organized crime is an unvarnished good. This is good. We missed this, and it's funny because what I was kind of
we have Antifa now.
Yeah, it's gone downhill.
We have Antifa.
It's
like
gone
we have blue-haired people who want you vaxxed to the gills and want to say that they don't exist, but also if you target us, that's fascism. Like just kind of, but also have tattoos of existing and all these things. They're not cool. This is cool. I'm sorry, and I know that like the real life mobsters are not nearly like they're like fat, like sweatier versions of them, kind of not as like handsome and probably. I mean, they are charismatic. They're probably really funny.
Even in this movie, they're not. They're not all gorgeous. I mean, obviously, young Pacino is gorgeous.
Chad,
absolute. Like just could not have been anyone else in that role, obviously. But it's funny. The funniest thing to me is how Sopranos, like you said in your previous episode, leftists glommed on to it. And that's like the only memes that exist about Sopranos, and you see them everywhere, and it's all just like, oh, you entirely misunderstood that. The funniest part about The Godfather is that it's not memed at all. The only thing that you ever see is like somebody maybe referencing, look how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, it's the only one.
The only one I ever see about this. Even though you would think that all the like Statue Abbey, like Vipers, why don't they fuck with The Godfather? I'm like, it's everything that you want.
That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point.
I don't think a lot of people value like watching movies with their parents. No, truly. Like you hear some people, the way people talk about their families on the internet, and like less from like the political divide between my families kind of bad. It's more so just like, no, I sequester myself in my room and don't do that. Like we don't have these moments, because like it is the ultimate family film, even though it's sad. It's ultimately a sad movie. But I'm with you. Like Michael, like I'm like I'm watching and I'm like, am I supposed to hate anything he's doing right now? Like he's sacked up. Sonny, he realizes that Sonny's. So Michael Corleone is a college kid. Now again, I thought that when I was a kid, I thought this movie was in the 70s.
Right.
Took place in the 70s, because you just think that, but and the studios wanted it in the 70s because they didn't have to get old cars. It's easier to make a current day movie. The budget was just not very high for this movie, at least the actual printed budget for it. But I have a feeling I still have a feeling the mob kind of was like, hey, this shit slaps. We finally realized like,
we need some PR.
Yeah. How about some off the book money to, I was just wondering, just speculation on my part. But, there's Michael is just, he's explaining to Kay, while Kay, played by Diane Keaton, is watching Luca Brasi, which is still, they love telling the story, and it is really funny. Of like, he was just this old literal hitman, like from the mob, this guy that plays Luca Brasi, and he was practicing his line of what he's going to say to Vito Corleone. They were saying he was just practicing his lines, and they filmed him. That's what was funny about it, is they were just like, they just filmed him, and he's like, Don Corleone, thank you for inviting me to, like, so they just filmed him doing that. And Coppola just goes, that's perfect, because he's nervous. Like, he's like, he doesn't know I'm doing this. He'd never do this if I told him to do it, and so but she, you know, it sets the scene perfectly for Diane Keaton to go, I'm in this beautiful, beautiful place, like villa, and you know, there's children, families running around. It's what everybody dreams of. Commercials, not today, but commercials of the past would love to film these types of events to sell you something. And she's going, what's the big deal about your dad? And Michael has that like kind of like Al Pacino voice where he talks like this at the beginning. Like he has that, like, before he, you know, his voice changes, which is really funny. Like throughout the film, he's kind of like, I'm in my war uniform, Kay, and that's my dad. Like Al Pacino has that voice. Like, if anyone's ever seen the movie Scarecrow, that's his voice. Like in there with Gene Hackman. It's a very good movie. But he's Michael at that point is just like, well, I got back from World War II. I've seen some things. Ryan, in the book, do they talk about what he did in World War II at all? I was just wondering.
Like a little bit. It's just implied he's a hero. It's so funny, that book, just all of the fat that Coppola trimmed off of it is just like 250 pages of Johnny Fontaine's fucked up sex life.
Yeah.
and it did not belong anywhere near this movie. And that in that wedding scene has, like, you're talking about Michael Corleone's delivery, and my favorite line that Pacino actually delivers, just in terms of acting and delivery, is when Kay sees Luca Brasi, you know, practicing how he's going to talk to Dr. Ryan, and who's that scary guy over there? He's talking to himself, and Michael Corleone just looks at her and says, he's a very scary guy. And I'm like, that was just so...
That's exactly how he sounds.
You can feel his innocence in that scene.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, I know what goes on in this family, but I don't want anything to do with it, even though I'm an absolute savant at what this is going to ultimately entail.
Yeah, and also it shows his infancy of relationship with Kay as well, where they'll never have that kind of, like, innocent conversation ever again. You know, like, they don't have children yet. There's no skin in the game. It's just like you're still in the courting phase. You know, like, I love my wife dearly. We don't have any of this Godfather stuff happening in there. Like, but it's you know, I'm not gonna say that's a very scary guy to my wife ever. I'm gonna say that guy's fucked up. You know, and be like, people is fucking, like, you know, like we know each other on that level. We've gone through some shit together. So like you see, it's you know, and Kay is this waspy, you know, New England Yankee, just like you can tell her parents are just loaded. You know, just completely, you know, house in the Hamptons. You know, just like one of those kind of one of those people. Yeah, hats, floppy hats. Just absolutely one of those old money waspy type people who's clearly seen big villas like that might not be as impressive to her, but the family, the jovial aspect of it is probably like, wait, why is this guy so scared to meet somebody, and why is your family so happy right now? Because, you know, those waspy things, like, if anyone's seen like Interiors, which Diane Keaton's also in, like what do you like? It's just like morose, like 70s staring at each other, fucked up family situation. You know, like, that's what you picture Kay's family, even if they're not fighting with each other. You picture that.
Oh, we have a term for this in Minnesota, and it came up because I was down in South Carolina hanging out with my best buddy in the world is Italian.
Yes.
Guy. Like, literally the only Italian family living in Minnesota.
Nice.
Or, you know, like, at the time we met, and we just talked about, I was like, just relating to him, even though I am half my family is Scandinavian. And it's just it's so, like, I disavow, like, entirely their way of looking at the world. As I refer to it as the Scandi death cycle. Like, everything is gray, overcast. Like, again, the parts of this movie where Kay walks in, she just infects everything with, what I call the Scandi death cycle.
She sucks. She sucks. I'm glad you said it. I don't like her. I have great character. Diane Keaton does a marvelous job, but she sucks. You're so right. Like, I just, the whole movie, and it's just like, you know, I understand, like, you know, we get to the moment where Michael steps up and sacks up and realizes nobody can run this family. and Michael has to take out the Irish street sweeper, Mick Trash Cop, and Sollozzo. And he does it in that just very, like you said, Looney Tunes violence way. I forgot Sterling Hayden is the cop, and it was just what a legend, by the way. Just and his when he's shot in the head is so great. And
the way he pays attention to his food, like, I'm just here I'm just here making a buck.
The muscle.
It so reminds me, and we haven't mentioned him yet, but I had to say, because I didn't catch it until I rewatched the movie for the pod.
Yeah.
That the first line that Tom Hagen, our Krautmik friend,
Norwood King.
I didn't shave my head, even though I was appearing on camera. Yeah. This is how I sacrifice. This is how I'm a soldado for.
Yeah. Dude, he's been bald.
I let my Norwood 7 million
rocket
today.
Dude, Duvall's never cared about his hairline, not once, and it doesn't matter. He's Brock Bowers of acting, dude. He's amazing. It's just
but my favorite little thing that I just noticed, I was like, I realized, because I never watched The Godfather on weed before.
On weed,
right? But like, I'm like, his first line. Of course, the Irishman's first line in the movie is, "I got to go back to work."
Yeah. And I love his tepid, like, I'm part of. I actually think he has it. I actually think he has it the worst out of anybody in the family.
Yeah,
because he's depended on as part of the family, but isn't part of the family.
Yeah.
like he doesn't get he doesn't get it's like that kind of like when you're not high up at a company, but you're a rock star. You're one of your boss. He's one of your boss. He's the rock star. He's the rock star. You're one of my rock stars. So if you have a bad day, it's horrible. If you have a good day, that's just what I expect of you. But also, you have no chance at the throne. I don't even think Tom Hagen would do a very good job if he had a chance at the throne. But you have to go handle the Johnny Fontaine thing. He's not even allowed to enjoy the wedding. Any of these things. He's just never really allowed to get any of this.
And he's one of my favorite characters of all time for that. I mean, because he's the one character I relate to the most, especially growing up. Yeah. Like my best friend growing up was, because I've known him forever, is Italian. And so naturally my inclination of relating to them is through the lens of Tom Hagen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the Irish kid who has to go. And I'm like, I'll happily do this. What can I lift for you today?
Yeah. Right. So, and then, because that, and this comes up in 2, so we'll talk, because 2 is really Fredo's movie, in my opinion. Just he's the source of chaos. And that movie's about Michael's one mistake is just trying to find a million ways something's going wrong, and not his just retarded, like, proto Gen X sulky brother, Fredo. Just that he's like a 6 feet under character, Fredo. My gosh, like just the, like, when you're, I don't have brothers, but I know people with brothers, and I know people with older brothers who are like not older brothers. And it's really annoying. And like, they require the most care. They require the most tepid. And I love that Fredo's born in the second movie with like just shitty health, like off the bat. He's like a sickly kid. Like he's like, just off the bat, just completely. And they say, he's like, Mom says you were dropped off by whatever gypsies or something.
The gypsies.
But Michael realizes, he's like, it's gotta be me. Right, because Sonny's too much of a hothead. We learned this. Anytime we learned this from when Vito, which is a mistake by him ultimately, not wanting to get into drugs. It's very much like Paulie in Goodfellas, not wanting to get into drugs. But it's like, hey, the drugs are here. So what are you gonna do? Somebody's gonna have to control that, or else other people are going to take over your neighborhood with drugs. They're going to ruin the neighborhood by turning everyone into junkies, and you're not going to get a cent from it. And Sonny basically is saying that out loud and he's correct. But the fact to Vito saying, wait, you just said everything out loud. why did you just do that? Now, Andy Garcia in the third movie learns that in the same way. Like it's kind of a repetition cycle. This movie is very much a archetypes exist, characters fill them, you know, and he when he realizes that Sonny can't do it, and Vito knows this, and Vito, another great acting from Marlon Brando is when he's finally, you know, back to responding to people in the hospital, and they're like, he's like, where's Michael? And then they go, Michael, you know, Tom Hagen, of course, in his very like lawyer legalese tone, is like, Michael took care of, you know, the cop in Sollozzo, and just Vito is crying, but in his face he's like, of course he did. Like, of course he did. Like, I didn't want that to be the case. I wanted one of you guys to be able to do it in a calculated way to where you wouldn't ruin it, wouldn't get yourself killed. But of course it had to be Michael.
He was the only one who was competent enough to. And at the same time, they kind of fucked up by not coming up with a better way to pull off that hit. But of course, since this is Shakespearean, I always look at the movie as purely Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Is that there was no other course of action, even though obviously, like, you could have Al Neary, who's one of my favorite. Like honestly, I almost named my cat Neary because Al Neary is one of my favorite characters, and he's just the Corleone's murder cat. He's always just sulking in the background, kind of like he's always lounging, kind of sleeping. And it's like you couldn't have figured out a way to kill these guys off without implicating our, you know, spotless, clean war
Put some
hero.
plausible deniability.
Who would you believe, though? Who would you have a sit down with? If you think about it, it's a cop, right? This guy, I mean, I call him Mick Trash, but that's lovingly. But like, this cop's not his first rodeo. Right. They know Michael as this decorated war guy who is went to college, which is a big deal back then. He's not some fucking libtard that they send to school now to 7 years, you know.
Ivy League student, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he, you know, that you're going to sit down, like, I'm going to talk to his most calculated son. They're almost insulting Michael by doing that. They're almost saying, like, we'll sit at this thing. You're not going to do anything. Like, this kid's not going to do anything. And they only even get the slightest suspicion. Yeah, they're only doing it to get the slightest suspicion when he says, can I go to the bathroom? They're even like, don't take too long. But even then, if it was Sonny, they'd go, yeah, my fucking big wop guy back here's going to hold your dick while you piss. You know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't have. And even then, like, when people, there's this big stupid culture around like mafia stuff now where they'll be like, mafia expert ranks the realness of all movies on YouTube. And the guy who clearly ratted on everybody is always just like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. Ray Liotta would have got killed right there. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, you don't disrespect Joe Pesci at the bar, you know, like, yeah. And you're just like, that's not why I'm watching this movie. That's not why I'm watching this movie.
Reality doesn't need to enter the picture. The drama only has to serve its own internal logic, and it works. And the murder is dramatic, and it gives Michael the excuse they need to send him off to Sicily. So it works. Is Bloodsport realistic? No, it's cool. Yeah,
it's cool. And you see there, Michael, his look on his face, and the most Pacino's best stuff in the first one is all nonverbal. It's all just stewing and brooding and just kind of like, you know, when he. I love his fight or flight where, again, if this was made in the 90s, which there was one made in the 90s, he would outwardly express every emotion by yelling, and it would ruin a lot of the scenes. But when it's time to move his Vito to the hospital, to another bed or to another room, he doesn't really scream for a while until he's disobeyed like 3 times by the nurse, and then he's just like, look, there's people coming in here to kill my dad, you know, and then, but it's just there's that frantic like fight or flight. If anyone's ever been in that situation, like, I don't usually, like, when I panic, I don't outwardly panic, right? Like, it's the interim phase where the kind of thoughts come out. But when there's actually something happening, your fight or flight, it's usually a very like meticulous kind of
calm
like
down. You get into the groove. You deal with the situation.
I can't remember which Russian said this. It was any idiot can handle a crisis. Right.
That's you know what? Like, exactly. Except for Sonny.
Apparently.
Except for Sonny. He cannot handle a crisis. Let's talk about him, because James Caan, I guess he was like the biggest LARPer of the actors. He said they said if you could they asked him if you could win an Oscar or be a made man, what would you pick? He's like, made. I was like, fucking
Get the
retard.
fuck out of here.
What a retard. I know. But he's so cool. If you ever hear interviews with him, he's the type of guy where, like, say I'm sitting next to him, everything he says, he's doing this to you. Yeah. And then, you know, everybody knows that guy. Like, the kind of like, you're like, motherfucker, I got to fucking start working on my lats tomorrow. God, like, I cannot handle a James Caan Robin Williams knuckle, you know, that he's grabbing.
That boomer, oh my gosh. And I get it. Yeah. I work with plenty of boomers.
They're great. They're great. Yeah, they're great when they do that. I work with
blue collar boomers. And they're constantly like sizing you up that way.
Fucking punching you. You know that thing? That's James Caan. James Caan, one of the most legendary actors of the 70s, without question, too. I mean, The Gambler. If anybody hasn't seen that, we covered it on the back wall, but The Gambler is, in my opinion, the greatest gambling movie ever made, because it talks about the masochism of gambling, and covers it very well. I mean, it's made by Carol Rice, very low budget. I don't think at the time it made even a peep in the 70s, but looking back, just called The Gambler, not the Mark Wahlberg one. That one's not good, but the Gambler from 1974. But Sonny is just like, again, vocalizing everything. And Vito, he's not Vito's true heir, because Vito was like that's why the beauty of Godfather 2 is, even though you know that Sonny's doomed, you realize when you see the genesis of Vito, it's just like the kid doesn't even talk. He doesn't say anything. He's not, it's all up here. It's all up here. So of course it has to be Michael, but Sonny is at the table, and where he's getting mad at Carlo, whom we later find out he introduced to Connie, and orchestrated that. So even the things he gets the most passionate about are usually his biggest mistakes that he put into place. So he's not a leader. He is a soldier. That's what Sonny is. Skull's cracked. It's why it's like he's Paulie Walnuts.
I was just about to say he's a Paulie character. That's the role he should have served.
Yeah, and again, that's what should have happened to Paulie in the 70s. Like, if we're being real, like how did he survive that? You know, like it's with being such a numbnuts. And but there's that part of the table where they're just talking business, outwardly talking business at the table. And even Connie's just like, Dad never talked about business at the table. And he's like, shut up. And then Carlo's like, yeah, shut up. Because you don't tell her to shut up. And it's just like, what? Like, that is a nothing conversation. Like, think about when there's actually a problem, which there is, and Sonny walks right into a trap. Like, it's literally a bug zapper. He is a fly to a bug zapper.
And the best part about it is his gorgeous Stregonona, Mama Corleone.
Yeah.
Iconic.
She's just beautiful.
Again, like, when you get those castings, I feel like in this movie were more important visually than even as three perfectly illustrates, as I'll say, I'm sure later. But Mama Corleone is saying, no, that's their business. They're married. The sacrament of marriage makes, he can whoop the, he can whoop
Richie Aprile, right? Yeah. He goes, if you better marry my niece if you're gonna raise a hand to her. Yeah, he's like, it's not my. He goes, look, I'm, Richie Aprile, who I believe is in Godfather 2, right? Isn't he the brothel owner?
Pretty sure he's in the movie.
He's got like from a side profile. I mean, Junior Soprano's in it.
These guys.
But Richie in Sopranos he goes, look, I'm old school. If you're gonna raise a hand to my niece, you got to marry. And it is like, that is what's happened. They're like, look, don't. First off, you set them up, you dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, so it's literally like there was that guy for the Chiefs that did that with Jamal Charles's sister. It was very Javon Belcher. It was all bad. Like, don't do that. Yeah, it's a deep cut. Chiefs Kingdom might get a little mad at me.
7 football fans who listen.
Wouldn't want Chiefs Kingdom to get mad at me. Yeah, but the Connie is also interesting too, because she's a total archetype for why, like, Lorraine Bracco doesn't want to be screaming in a movie for Sopranos. Like, it's because they look at Talia Shire. I mean, they're looking at Talia Shire, who's just an ambulance chasing screamer, and she grows up to be good. I think, like, she actually has probably one of the better arcs, and comes out.
She grows up to be batshit insane in the most beautiful way. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. And this, I actually thought about, and I can't remember. I think you and Cy were talking about. I think it was like Roger Troutman from Zap or something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that
We
might have
were
happened.
talking about how people like shit on archetype things.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Oh,
cliche.
yes.
This is cliche, right? Oh, Talia Shire's portrayal of this Italian. I don't want to be like that. I'm like, that was the OG performance of that. And there's so many instances of that within these movies where it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, this movie is mid. This movie is mid-wit because it uses these tropes. I'm like, they invented the tropes though.
Women and what's funny is like I guess Coppola envisioned, and it's his sister Talia Shire, who's I love the Coppola nepotism family. I think they're all great, and they should all be. And they I hope more come of it. I mean, you're talking about
They
Nicolas Cage.
deserve their success.
Nicolas Cage, Jason Schwartzman is Talia
Yes.
Shire's son. Like all which is crazy. The Italian Jewish look of Jason Schwartzman is awesome. Yeah, it's incredible. Just a hairy person. And then you have but Talia Shire, she asked for an audition, and Coppola is like, for one, he's like, I don't want to have to like yell at my sister on set, like if she's not doing something right, and I don't want that to become a thing. He goes, but I envisioned the character to be ugly, and she's not. So he's like, no, because he figured, he goes, I wanted a spoiled homely girl who only gets boyfriends for like strivers, for guys to come in and have a way into the family.
Easily fixable by just flipping the Lucy Mancini, who you see Sonny with his like giant Italian.
That's true.
All you had to do was flip that casting, and you.
But she could. I bet she could. The dish breaking scene. I bet she couldn't kill it though. You know what I mean? Like you're right though. You're right. Like
the way that she's just like, my favorite part about that dish breaking scene is when you can see her start to kind of like run out of gas.
Yeah.
Like the way my cat does when he gets like he gets a fucking bug up his ass, but he's like
yeah.
And
there's also like I almost view it as like a second thought. Like, do I want to break this dish? Like, fuck it, Carlo.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It's just a nice
again. I know you hate the fucking trivia.
No, I don't. I mean, I've clearly done it. So
that scene was actually added into the movie to increase the amount of psychotic Italian violence.
Dude, she got like. There's no way that she doesn't get the damn Adrian role in Rocky if it's not for her spazzing out in Godfather. You know what I mean? Like it's the way it works. Like she's in Godfather 2, she's an irredeemable whore. Like just gold digging whore who doesn't even see her kids. And then in 3, she's around at least. She's around, and she watches
comes
Eli
back to the fold.
She watches Eli Wallach poison himself, which also another great way to die. Poisoning yourself at the Beautiful Catholic Opera, or getting poisoned, I should say, at the Beautiful.
Eating a delicious cannoli. Everybody that cannoli.
Way better death than Donald Carlos.
Beautiful. Yeah. Eli Wallach, Mexican until he became Italian.
He can pass. He gets a pass.
It's amazing. He's a straight up like Foo's Gone Wild in the Clint Eastwood movies. Man Without. That's amazing. I love it. And then he's just like, I'm like, damn, that's crazy, man. Like, first off, he did nothing wrong. That's great. And so what else about one, guys? Like, what else about one? Vito, the passing of the torch. One of the greatest things is when Michael does not understand betrayal yet. Michael does not understand betrayal. That's one thing. He's smart, he's calculated, but smart people a lot of times view everybody else as ethical as them. If they're smart and ethical, which Michael's, in my opinion, stays that way. I guess to a lot of the audience he doesn't, but I think he does everything correctly, at least for the most part. He looks at Vito's kind of like, but Michael knows something's afoot. People don't like the transition. The 5 families meet up. They don't like what's happening. They're mad at Vito. They say this isn't communism, but they literally want communism. They're like, yeah, we should all get the judges. We should all get your things. This isn't a communist dictatorship. It's like, well, yeah, I won, so I keep them.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I won. So I do keep all my judges. Thank you. Yeah. But then Vito, one of his last things, where he's like, oh, I'm drinking more wine nowadays. I love the drinking too, where Michael doesn't really drink a lot. Vito doesn't really drink a lot. Michael doesn't drink at all, right? Like,
No.
but Vito doesn't
ever see him. I don't
never.
The only time you see him drink is at the end of 2.
That's true.
Is it?
Yeah, when because he slams down a few glasses of wine before he goes to tell Vito that he's joined up and he's going to war.
Oh, that's right.
And he's
Because I know
throwing
the
it
other.
all away.
Because I know I just love the relationship with alcohol between Vito and Michael, because Vito looks at Tom Hagen when he knows there's bad news and it's about Sonny dying,
Right?
And he's like, "Well, you've had your drink. You have to have a drink because you have to tell me something bad. Well, now you've had your drink. Now tell me." And it's just, that part is just like, God, it's so beautiful. Like it just really sets it up well. But Michael, you know, when Vito starts going towards the end of his life, he's almost like just kind of like just disintegrating
himself.
Yeah, he's disintegrating, and he's like, "I'm drinking more wine." He's like, "It's good for you, Pop. No problem." And Michael and Vito saves Michael's life. I mean, he does right there. He said it's his last great deed. And says, watch out for the smart ones. Like you're worried about the aggressive ones. Like watch out for the smart ones, which sets up all the other later ones. Fredo is smarter than Sonny, right? Maybe at some point, if Sonny doesn't die, Sonny might flip on Michael, right? It might happen, but it would be easy to tell, you know. Right. And then you'd have, but with this one, it's Tessio, who's played by Abe Vigoda, who's just like this most like fucking like Disney haunted mansion Italian man you'll ever see in your life. Like he is such an Addams Family ass dude. Like he's so good.
He lived to be like 197.
Herman Munsteriano. Yeah, that would be like just if they had an Italian Frankenstein, dude, like absolutely. He's so cold, like burnt offerings, like smiling hearse driver looking thing. Like he's so cold looking. And, you know, it's just, you know, Robert Duvall said his favorite line was when he talks to Abe Vigoda, where just Abe Vigoda's like, "Look, tell Michael it's only business. You know, what, you know, can you get me out of this?" And Tom's like, "Nah, can't do that." You know, like, and it feels like he's being denied at like the DMV or something. Mm-hmm. I just love the coldness of it, but Michael just goes crazy, and you get something that everybody's copied, where that's Michael, the christening, bringing a new life into the world, indoctrinating something, if you want to be a leftist about it, bringing them into this world while all the old guards getting whacked in like a montage sequence. Everybody's copied that since The Godfather, by the way. That's like, that happens as a climactic part in that. But one thing we haven't talked about is Michael in Italy, where he has to go to Italy. They're like, where's all the men? They're like, yeah, the men got toasted, like old Roman genocide, basically. Like the men got toasted. He goes, all we have is badass bitches in Italy right now. Michael's like, oh, okay.
Again, why the right didn't seize upon this movie as like a blueprint for creating your own little parallel, you know, forms of control of your life and family and everything. But in that scene, you see, it's like, again, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, beyond mafia, like greasing palms, that they just blew the entire budget. It's like, we're filming intensely because it's literally the most beautiful. And it breaks my heart to see, because it's like, I think about the old country. It's like, I want to go back to Ireland. Oh yeah, let's go back to Ireland and look at a bunch of rocks.
Yeah, and
you see Sicily.
We got the cliffs of Moher or whatever.
You have rolling green hills. You have beautiful.
Yeah, you and me would just go there and we'd be like the Banshees of Inisherin, which is a bad movie, but we would just sit out there and look at the beautiful coast and bicker at each other. Is all we
bicker at each other and chop off fingers.
Don't much care for you anymore, Ryan. Yeah, you know, we'd just be. We
just sit around, and it's just instead of having that, I think that the Irish were just like, I don't know, like 8 IQ points too smart to have their own mafia.
Because they did.
They did, but it failed. It failed miserably.
Well, they got edged out by the Italians, is what happened.
They did. Vincent, he's calling you guys 8 points dumber and more successful.
Look, I'm half and half. I'm half and half. I can't shit on either side.
No, I love Italians. Like I straight up, I grew up in California, and when I got on, when you'd hear, like, I got online and you realize at the time I didn't realize what people were doing, but they would like, Italians suck. And I was like, oh, you guys want to be racist, and that no one, you realize no one cares if you do that.
Whole, like when it was like, you get a freebie to shoot at Italians, basically.
Right. Like, I didn't realize, I was always like, man, their food's good. It's very festive.
People are just very jealous.
Yeah, I think that's what I think it's huge cope. Because I'm like, even that Costco family, which is like secretly Jewish, I don't know, whatever, but like the Costco family, they're having fun. They're just they are. I know. I was just like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me they're secretly Jewish. That's like a Thomas Pynchon thing, like where I'm like, you don't want the answer. You're
better off not knowing.
Yeah, I don't even hate that they are. I just like, why couldn't they just be the Costco Italian family? Like, just keep them as that. Like, let them LARP. It's fine. It's New Jersey. Everyone's Italian. Everyone is.
St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's Irish today.
Exactly. Kiss me, I'm Irish, and it's a Korean guy. Well, like that's totally fine. We don't care.
Kim can come to the party. Kim can. Come
to
the party.
Yes. I'm not even saying anything against them. I just mean like that was. But I've always loved the Italians. Like they're always really cool. So I was like, it's so weird to see like people just like, I'm surrounded by Guidos, man. I'm like, who gives a shit? Yeah, like they're fun. Go party. Stop being a loser.
We'll feed you. You'll have a good time.
Stop making vaporwave edits in your room. Yeah. So the Italian scene, he meets his beautiful Italian, like one olive oil label girl, like, and then he's that she symbolizes an escape, right? Like not symbolizes, it's quite literally, but once she blows up in a car that was meant for Michael, he knows right then and there, it's just, well, guess I'm in this for good. And the only way out is through, right? And that's the beauty of all of that. And I didn't even respect that arc that much when I watched it the first time. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to Italy now. All right, well, what are we gonna do? No, it's beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. And he never wants to leave. And then he's like, I guess I'll go back with my boring wet blanket wasp wife. Like, I guess I'll just get her back.
It's like he goes to paradise, but paradise is tainted for him.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, and there is no paradise. Because paradise, Michael thinks he's not a family person, but he is. I think he
can't escape. Every time I get out, they pull me back in.
It's very true. Yeah, I mean, it is true. And that was the first time. Well, no, it was the second time because he went away to college, went away to the war, and then he learns how to cook. Learns how to cook from Clemenza. Shout out to my boy Clemenza, dude.
My favorite. Everything I ever needed to know in life, I learned from Peter Clemenza.
The gun, leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Learn how to cook, learn how to dance. The scene.
This is true.
Like honestly, again, like the scenes with him and his like kind of dumpy but cute kind of little Italian girl next door wife.
Yeah,
and there's only like two of them in the entire movie.
Yeah,
and they're the most beautiful scenes to me, and that's how I knew that my gal, who like the Irish gal, I knew that she was, I kind of feel like. Yeah, she might be the one because we were watching this and she's like, Peter Clemenza's kind of sexy. And I'm like,
nice.
Like, thank you. Thank you.
Is she a Red Scare listener by any chance?
I was gonna ask.
Okay. That's like the most Anna Kachian thing I've ever heard in my life is like the bald guy with the mustache is really hot and James Caan is ugly and that's
the fat man is the provider.
Hey, let him have it, it's fine. But yeah, I was laughing at that. So let's before we move on to Godfather 2, I gotta use the restroom, so I gotta go get a gun from the restroom.
From the 5 to the 6 we be in the that red candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, can't do
shit. Godfather 2 is in my opinion the better film, but we're talking about, it's a continuation. In my opinion, it's a perfect continuation. It had every reason to not be good. It's this I know Vincent will definitely identify with this because he's read the books, but it's James Ellroy's like Underworld trilogy. But if you centered in on like the organized crime aspect of it, you're talking
and they
about
weren't all morons,
Yeah, they weren't. That's true. And
he's very unflattering depictions of the mafia.
It's true. That is true. Yeah, and like or like insane rapist pedophiles and stuff. But Michael is expanding the business, the family business, and he's trying to work. And this is another thing that I definitely think was taken for Sopranos is an old Jewish guy that he think is your friend, even though Hesh doesn't really turn on Tony.
Hesh is loyal.
Hesh is loyal. Hesh is loyal for sure. He needles at him and kind of like tries to work one over. It's kind of art of the deal. Hesh is always doing like art of the deal on him a little bit. But Hyman Roth, again, why the right is not on these movies, I'm not sure, because Hyman Roth trying to flee to Israel after I don't know why they're not on this. Like, this is total a Pepe Frog. Hyman Roth is a straight Pepe Frog like archetype, like 4chan $1 million extreme like guy. It's actually hilarious.
Hyman Roth is out there rubbing his hands. He is the meme.
I loved his way too loud football TV setup at his house though. With his palm tree.
Notre Dame. I almost wore the Notre Dame hat today. For the one scene where they happened to be watching a 1959 USC Notre Dame.
Amazing. And he's like, "Do you like the football, Michael? Do you follow the football, Michael? I love the football and the baseball too." I love that line. But this is a movie about Fredo because they send Fredo to Vegas. In Godfather 1, you get one of the greatest lines ever. "Fredo, you're my brother and I love you, but don't ever take sides against the family again." Because Fredo is shacking up with like Mo Green and all these really sloppy, like Vegas simplify. So Michael understands that Vegas needs to be a calculated move. We can't slip up. Whereas once you get to Vegas, you're like, shut up and take my money. Let's invest in everything. Right. And that's Fredo's just impulsive stew. Fredo shacks up with like a big titty, like Austin Powers fembot. And he's already suffering from it. Doesn't start his own family. And Fredo apparently has been doing more than Michael has expected him to be doing in both good ways and bad. I loved all the Cuba stuff. All the Cuba stuff is excellent.
I would love a whole movie about the mob in Cuba.
I loved it because Michael is ultimately correct because he's like, I don't want to invest in this. And this is like based off true stuff. The reason Vegas became Vegas and Tahoe became Tahoe in terms of gambling on the border of California. And the reason it became that was, for one, Tahoe, you have one of the deepest lakes to throw bodies in. So obviously there's that. There's still fucking Italian. Actually, in Tahoe, there's a guy named Hera, which everyone's ever heard of Hera's Casino. Yeah. That guy, Hera, was like the biggest landowner in Reno. And then the mob came in. They're like, hey, can we have some of it? We'll make you rich. He's like, psst. He was like Kevin Costner Yellowstone on the tailgate. And he was just like, nah. And they're like, yeah, or else you'll be in the river. And he's like, fine, make me one of the richest people of all, in the West at the time.
Bend my arm, why don't you?
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So we'll name, a sick ass casino after you. And so anyways, but that was a real thing. You had in Cuba was supposed to be this like offshore thing during the Batista regime, which was much more capitalist leaning. I don't know, even outright capitalist, I would guess. You had the Dole. I think it was, what was it? The fruit company. I forget what it was.
Bananas. I thought that was Panama.
United Sugar.
They have United Sugar.
United Sugar. Thank you.
I'm sorry. United Fruit.
United Fruit. Yeah.
All the sugar guys had, because Cuba was sugar and Panama was bananas.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So, so you had there's a burgeoning kind of regime which nobody wants to really talk about. They're like, there's always infidels. Michael, it's nothing. This is always going to happen. And Michael's like, I don't know. This shit looks pretty fucked up, actually. Like, I don't feel like dumping a bunch of money into this. But that was a real thing. And also another thing that people were mad about with Kennedy. And that's when you get into Kennedy conspiracies, they were like, he was not hard enough on Cuba. And the mob wanted, again, if you believe these things, the mob wanted Kennedy gone because, well, he screwed up their they had to switch everything they had to team up with Howard Hughes in Vegas instead, and they didn't want to do that.
They had a really good thing going down there.
They did. They were like, Miami, we got all these, all these old retired people that are going to go take a what is it, a 70-mile,
It's 90 miles away.
90 miles away.
The best argument against communism that I've ever seen is just the movie The Godfather 2. Because how fucking sick would those casinos be 90 miles off?
Betting on Cuban baseball, betting on
like, oh my god,
baseball players.
Yeah. Oh my lord, are you kidding me? Yeah, it looked really like, and those scenes are excellent. But it starts out with Michael has a beautiful Lake Tahoe house, which that would be worth, no joke, like $25 million right now, like if not more. It is out of control. Like it looks like it's in Zephyr Cove. I don't know exactly where it's at, but I know Tahoe very well and I love it. So it's I would seriously just be like Vito. He wants to be Vito. There is what he wants to do. He wants to just be Vito. You come meet with me. I am a sage. I tell you a few things. But he realized, he's like, nah, I gotta grow the family business. And also he's reminded again, he can't be complacent. Place gets absolutely sprayed up. For a while, we don't really know who did it. We can point our finger. Could be Hyman Roth, could be Frankie Pantangeli, who Ryan is a big fan of. Frankie Pantangeli comes in with like one suit arm rolled up, one down, and he's just like, Michael,
he's the best. He's the only character that I really felt watching this. Maybe Willie Chi-Chi, who just happens to be his bodyguard. That feels like Willie Chi-Chi. That they feel like they could be Sopranos characters too.
Yes. Oh, sure.
And like Frankie Pantangeli's, and I had to, and just like revisiting, just like because I don't care about shit like like who won the Academy Award for what I consider it all to not really be, even though back then it probably had weight still.
Sure.
Oh yeah, tremendous weight.
Yeah. That he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor and actually lost to De Niro doing it. Because I'm like, man, his monologue when he's pleading his case to Mike Corleone about the Rosado brothers is still my favorite theater kid monologue to do, the Frankie Pantangeli, even with they recruit, he just kind of pops off. And completely just this drunken old man who he's like this beautiful little guinea pig. It's like he's a guinea pig, pun intended.
Oh, and he stays, and you know what? Like in one of the more unexpected things, he keeps it solid at the Tahoe gambling board thing for Michael when he says he's gonna flip. He's like,
an honorable guy.
Yeah, he's like, what, Mike? Nah,
never met him before in my life.
Yeah, I just said that shit so you guys wouldn't throw me in the can forever. And which Harry Dean Stanton is his FBI agent handler.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
The cleanest shaven than Harry Dean.
I know. And he still looks like roadkill. Like it's so funny. The guy's just like perpetual perpetual lollipop dropped on the carpet. Like I love it.
They're playing that just Forlorn Hearts game and he's just bleeding out. And
I love him. I love Harry Dean Stanton.
And that again, which is like I mentioned, I don't know, I think I sent a tweet about it one time. It was like Janice Soprano Groiper. I'm like Frankie Pantangeli Groiper.
Nice.
The most obsessed with the Roman Empire and and which is how Tom Hagen approaches ultimately Tom Hagen, which was one of my favorite scenes that he has in the movies. Just knowing that he can appeal to Frankie's History Channel, Tony Soprano ass, sitting around reading. He's literally talking about the books he can get to read about the history of World War II and the Roman Empire and all this shit.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it. Because at the beginning, you're just like, this guy's going to be a fucking nuisance the whole movie. I just know it. He's going to be a Ralph Cifaretto. He's going to be one of these, where you're like,
I don't know about that. I never.
You didn't get that?
No. Because he was just, again, old school.
Yeah, right. But that is a problem in The Sopranos, right?
Yeah, but the problem with The Sopranos is it's the children and grandchildren of someone like a Frankie Pantangeles, and they've been involved with drugs and all the less desirable elements of the underworld for 30, 40, 50 years at that point. Someone like Frankie Pantangeles would have been considered a Buddha Yoda figure to someone Tony's age,
Yeah, because he's when Michael's still like kind of shit testing everybody. When he's, he brings up that it was shot, and that's the "in my home." When he does that line, it's just like, whoa, and you're kind of like in your head, you're like, who did it? I mean, like, did Frankie do it? Like,
you don't know.
Yeah, did he do it? Because like you get it, like you would understand there was probable cause, like if we're to in old school terms, because you always hear that in all these mob movies, like, come on, your father would have dealt with this right away. Why are you mulling it over? Like this. There is that, like, these guys do grow softer and you have to be more savvy. You have more eyes on you. And that's why I thought Frankie Pantangeli was going to trip out, because it became a lot more like, look, we are globalizing. Like, this is the new regime. And I know it's only 1959, but like that's on the horizon. Like, we're trying to be legitimate by making illegitimate things legal. Right. Like in that way, obviously, in terms of gambling, like, which is just like, we can make this a legal thing. So like, you leave that old school, like, skull cracking shit in the past, which Michael even realizes, actually, I need to kill everybody again. I actually gotta, Michael, the whole movie is doing the Bugs Bunny. It's time to go back. Lord, forgive me. It's time to go back to the old me. He's doing that the whole movie, because he's like, he's just, I'm a I'm a businessman. I'm talking to Dominic Giannese, who is is his function the Italian mediary between Jewish and Italian?
Yeah, pretty much. He is the pizza bagel guy.
Yeah, it's true. He's a pizza bagel. Yeah. Because they're like, we need a balding Jewish looking Italian guy.
Johnny Ola,
who gets strangled on a beautiful. I mean, the last thing he looks at is a beautiful scape out there. So that it could be worse.
You still consider him Junior Soprano.
I know.
He's never Johnny Ola. Dominic Chianese is never Johnny Ola.
He didn't age that much.
No, and he aged better. Like, he looks better in The Sopranos. Like, he kind of looks like like weird in Godfather. Like, you're like, it's like this kind of like he's kind of he's like odd. Like, he's kind of odd looking. Like, he hasn't really embraced his bald yet. Right. Whereas in Sopranos, he's like, nah, dude.
Okay. No, and again, Junior Soprano, Peter Clemenza, these guys are my like goals in life.
Yeah, sure.
I was bald at 25. Mm-hmm. I had a gorgeous head of hair that I used to sit and fuck with back in the like emo kid like hair days. And I had to learn what it meant to be to go bald and just live your life as a bald man.
Sure.
A bald short guy. Man, did I ever, not the best, it wasn't dealt the best hand. But you learn, again, watching these movies where, like, literally, like, those two guys, those two characters to me are, like, they're, like, sex symbols.
Nice. Nice. Clemenza and then, Clemenza. Yeah, all these guys. Yeah.
Where it's just like, no, if you just have swag, like, it doesn't matter.
Covers for everything.
You swag.
Having charisma is everything.
Yeah, people responding to you when you walk into a room and like not getting like you like literally not scaring the host when you walk into a room is just like, whoa, this guy's like, there's something about this guy, like Brando till his dying day could get pulled bitches and he looked worse than all of these people.
Like a giant toad.
Yeah, Island of Dr. Moreau, Brando was still getting hoes. What's your excuse, Anon?
Exactly.
He was so yeah, exactly. But yeah, Dominic Chianese is in there. If you weren't like paying attention and you just hear his voice as a Sopranos, you're like, that voice never changed. No. It's funny, like his career didn't take off after that either. Like, he just was in it. And then he said he was he was living on an air mattress.
I love him. He's such a beautiful Renaissance man.
Yeah. Oh,
he's got one of the sickest. He's one of the sickest late night Wikipedia reads. It's Dominic Chianese with like, oh yeah, and then I was teaching guitar to women in drug addicted women in prison, and I was doing all this. And that was back in the day where you had these, again, like when actors in the old studio system that is, highlighted in these films, where like, oh yeah, and then I went to war, and I grew up in a 2-room shack, and then I was a boxing instructor, and then somehow I played, left tackle for the, like the Green Bay Packers
at 210 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
I
like,
wound up in The
look at
Godfather.
these, like, guys, like, and now it's, and the nepotism we see can be beautiful and good and create art, and because it makes sense for it to make art.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so like not only genetically, in theory, have you these skills, you're also just going to be set up, and you know what you're doing. And it's the same way that pro athletes do this. But back in that studio system, you had these figures, these like absolutely Homeric figures who just like Renaissance men, and it and love. And now, can you imagine how the casting would go if they decide, which depending on rights, whatever the estate of Mario Puzo or Coppola or whoever controls.
Also a fat bald guy too, Mario Puzo.
Oh yeah, just an incredible with the Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
It's just like when you embrace that aesthetic, you do just get this like plus charisma.
Bald insecurity is what the women sense. That's when they start commenting on your hairline, is when you're scared of it. Yes,
you need to embrace the Italian excellence of being hirsute, going bald, wearing the Coke bottle glasses, smoking a pack a day, being unreasonably tan.
Yeah. Having big forearms without ever going to the gym.
You just need the Popeye forearms.
Oh, that's still my pride, and and joy, because I'm just like this blue collar shit rat. All I do is just lift cinder blocks all fucking day. Forklift. And I'm just looking up, and this concept that underlies all these films. And like Vincent, how much do you speak Italian? Not
well. I can parse out and read more than I would be able to speak.
So, but like, okay, so in the context of watching The Godfather, did you know what is said in the movie The Godfather?
I mean, they don't speak a tremendous amount of Italian.
Just in the De Niro scenes.
Yes and no. Like little things I could pick out, but
I had like I said, like growing up, my best friend was Italian, and my sister was a Italian major in college. She got to do all this. She was obsessed. She's probably more obsessed with this movie than I am.
Get her on the show.
Yeah, I know she's probably on the show. But like just hearing all of this, like I just became addicted to the switching, like almost like that Spanglish. And Glen, you should know it, like working. I know you worked with a lot of dudes.
It's very similar. It's very similar. Well, those were the original day laborers, so yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, that Nos, but there's notice Gaelic, none of these other languages really catch on and stay. And there's something. Why is it that the Italians held on to the language more so than everyone else?
I have no idea. I mean, but really? New Jersey and New York Italian is like hillbilly Alabama Italian compared to the way that it's supposed to be spoken, because a lot of it is like inherited from Southern dialect, from Calabria, and Sicilian is its own thing too. So they're speaking, like the weird the words that people know from like The Sopranos, right? Like gabagool and all these things. It's like capicola. Yeah, it's like capicola is gabagool. Sfogliatelle is sfogliatelle. There's all these words that are altered and bastardized that become this new version of Itanglish that that are not like real words.
I genuinely love it so much, and like. It's my favorite part is like, because this is, like I said, this is one of those movies where I probably could, if you bet me like $100, I might be able to do every line of
right.
Yeah. And Except for it's running that wall where it's like, oh shit, I gotta speak Italian now, and learning all these like Italian words and like talking, talking to my sister and be like, oh, what does that mean? Like, and just having that like beautiful, like it's always some curse word. Like my still my favorite,
Yeah.
my favorite. The reason why I was like, oh shit, I'm afraid to go to an Italian wedding from the wedding scene.
Yeah.
and it's done in 3 too. It's like, oh wait, I've got to have some bars that I can drop at, like if somebody calls me up to the stage to make like Italian dick jokes.
Yeah,
in
it's
song
true.
form.
Yeah. Well, I love De Niro in this. I mean, you forget it's him. That's what I love about it. Is like he doesn't stick out like he does in every movie. And
Pacino, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They let themselves go into the character before they became the characters of who they are now that we all know them for.
Right.
Neither of them are typecast as two of the most iconic characters ever on film.
No, and he's De Niro's like a guy right now who I like don't want to see on my screen, and it's not for political reasons or anything. I just think he's like Denzel. Everybody has an expiration date, but in this era, give me him in any movie. I mean, he is just so good. I mean, king of comedy. It doesn't matter anything. Like he's incredible. But what's good about this is he's not doing his like De Niro mannerisms in it. He's only a little bit.
It's not a shtick.
He's doing Vito Corleone. He's doing Marlon Brando, to be quite honest. And he's and the Genesis story is so beautiful because we've already fallen in love with Vito Corleone from the first movie, and we've sent him off like almost a Viking funeral for him. Like we've done this for him. Like we've just pushed him out to sea, and we're like, we love you. See you later. Like this was great. But then you realize you're like, man, I love this guy even more now. I mean, his whole family is murdered. You get the r/satisfying moment scene where like he goes back and just shows him the bottle of olive oil and just blasts that old dude that killed his mom.
Honestly, seriously, that scene, when we talk about it's like how like violence and sexuality like have been like stripped from films to like bring us into this like Disney-fied version of the world. That's one of the most gruesome murder scenes in cinema.
The stabbing, and it's such a weird place to get stabbed. It's like right below the titty. Like he and then like he just like puts it in. It feels like the knife doesn't go in like the way it's supposed to, which makes it worse. It's awful.
Terrible.
It's awful.
He rips him up the chest and
Japanese like samurai shit.
And we've never seen Vito. I mean, we've seen him. We saw him kill Don Fanucci, so whatever. But that was in a classic shooting sense. We haven't really seen Vito Corleone. We know he's done all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, he's got to where he was, but we haven't seen him just be brutal ever. And then like but then we realize we're like, well, yeah, we'd all do the same thing unless we were giant pussies. The guy shot his mom in front of you after knowing it, because it was an old like Western style. It's like you got to kill the whole bloodline. Bloodline. Yeah. And he's like, my son, he's retarded. He cannot do that. Like she's doing it at the beginning. Like, he's a nonverbal, too much Tylenol in the pregnancy. Like, and she's like doing all of this stuff, and he's just like, sorry, gonna kill him. Don't know what to tell you. And then he runs away, and we get it's just this beautiful adventure story of Vito Corleone, which again wasted on me a little bit as a 13, 14-year-old person, because I'm like, I don't care, period piece, lame. Get me back to Michael Tahoe shooting people, like that's what I want. But this time I'm like, I'm almost driven to tears watching these scenes. Like it's just so great, and he's I love De Niro, and just like where he's he's Santino, he's got little baby Santino. Fredo's born, and he's not doing so hot as a kid, and he's also not doing so hot in real time either. And you just kind of he's realizing like, hey, why don't I just take control of this neighborhood? Like, and everyone's like, oh, you can't do it with Don Fanucci, played by Bruno Kirby. Clemenza's played by Bruno Kirby. Shout out Austin. I have to give Austin a shout out. Literally the only Bruno Kirby fan I've ever met who's just like a huge fan. Like, Bruno Kirby is excellent as young Clemenza in The Godfather.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's great. So I had to give him a shout out. When they're robbing the houses and stuff,
rolling up the
rug.
And he's going on. He's like, the break-in scene, everything. the funny thing is that this goofy, jovial, beautiful idiot essentially starts like the mafia in America.
Yeah.
By like throwing a bag of guns through Vito Corleone's window. And I still just love, again, like
Clemenza is Saint Christopher, dude. Like he is Saint Christopher. He's helped out. He's helped out the who needs help. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exact, and he's done it in multiple time periods. He helps Michael with the gun and all of that stuff, and he's a total like he serves as, it's not a father figure, it's something else, you know, and
an uncle figure.
Yeah, it's like an uncle. He's unk status, dude. Yeah, he's got it.
As like a premier unk with no kids of my own, like I just gravitate towards that character so much, and just the beautiful hypocrisy where he's breaking in, he's sleeping with married women, like ripping off their rugs, you know, like running guns, doing all this shit. And he sits down with a giant plate, just hosting this gorgeous place.
Yes.
And of course, make sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when they're at the, and I love the, like, so again, this is something where you don't see this in Sonny because he's not calculated enough to do it this way, but I love Vito's kind of like, what's the big deal kind of thing, like where you see Don Fanucci and they're like, hey, down in front, and he turns around and he's in his white suit, he's flamboyant, like loud, and he just turns around and he's like, oh shit, never mind, Don Fanucci. And De Niro's, you know, is just like, okay,
who's this fucking guy?
All right, like, I mean, hey, I guess you're in charge, but
what does that got to do with him? He immediately caught, and this is why, and one of the reasons why I was really interested to know how much Italian you speak, Vincent, was in terms of Don Fanucci. Was the name of that character actually referencing the Italian like slang for a gay person?
Fanuc. I thought about it too.
Like, genuinely.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know in this particular
that can't
case.
Be. That can't
yeah,
be.
No, I don't think so.
But,
yeah.
I don't think they would have had Don Fag show up, and you would have had everyone watching it in the theater in New York City.
This neighborhood is controlled by a gay guy. Yeah. In 1901.
I remember just like, and this is why I loved like learning this little Ital English slang.
Yeah.
Was like in the video Johnny Fontaine scene in 1 where he's like, "Well, you turn into a Hollywood Fanuc," you know?
Yeah. Well, I love. Speaking of which, just to call back to Johnny Fontaine, yeah, it's funny. Like I know, like people make like Sinatra references, all this stuff with him, but really, it's Frankie Valli if you think about it. Because have you seen those pictures of Frankie? He's like 89 years old, and it looks like he's at Disneyland on a marionette at these things, and he's clearly paying a debt. Like they're like, as long as you're alive, he's probably trying to die. He's probably like, I'm a good Catholic boy, I can't kill myself. So he's like, he's probably like, he goes to the doctor, gets his blood work, Frankie Valli, and they're like, Frankie, you're doing great. And he's like, damn it. Like, and they're like, as long as you're alive, you need to do Foxwoods Casino every single night. And you see the thing, he's like dancing, and it's so sad. It's like a Disneyland animatronic ride. It's so sad, but you're just like, that's Johnny Fontaine. Johnny Fontaine's fate. I mean, he still has to sing it. What's it called? In 3, he has to sing it. Like, even though that's the least of.
I think that was a genuine.
Oh, sure, that's the best thing he does. Yeah,
yeah. But it's on. And again, this is why, and it's so weird, and it's so parallel.
Yeah.
To the weird stuff that feels kind of mafia-ish, but we don't have a mafia anymore.
Yes.
So we know it's not the mafia, but like people are like, it feels like psyops are just happening like left and right, like people with machinations. But like the whole Johnny Fontaine character, the Al Martino, again, more Godfather tribute, but like was like satirizing itself. Like Al Martino, the guy who plays Johnny Fontaine, was like mobbed up with Russell Buffalino, the mafia head portrayed in The Irishman. Like basically it was like, so Sinatra was pissed that he was portraying him.
Right.
He was. And then the same exact thing of like a mafia boss leaning on someone to get someone apart in a movie actually happened to the guy who was portraying the guy in the movie. And I don't want to think about any of that.
No.
But I still know it. But it's like, it's like a great little trivia question, but at the same time, it's just so not germane to any part of the character.
Well, that's how Carlo got the job, right? The character of Carlo.
Was that how?
Yeah, because he was a legit mob guy.
He looked like it.
And he was like, he auditioned for that part. And I don't think that it was going to go in his favor. And a few things happened, and he wound up playing the role that he played.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I actually did not know that, but it checks out. Yeah, it checks out because he's part of the. I watched this thing on YouTube. It was like some I don't know if it was BBC. The narrator was British, but he was just talking about the mob in The Godfather, like the whole from the first movie, the whole saga that happened, and he was like the guy that they were interviewing a lot. So I'm like, oh, I guess that's why. But yeah, I guess so. But yeah, but oh man, so Fredo. I mean, we got to talk about Fredo. He is. He's going through it, and he's sloppy because he's an idiot, and he sulks too hard. He has a death wish the whole movie. You can tell it's even if it's subconscious. Like he's not happy. He's not happy with that woman.
Child.
That's why I called him like a Gen Xer. And I know Ryan, you're a Gen X. I'm not saying that, but he's a Gen Xer of the family.
100%. He's my other I have such an affection and affinity for this character, and I think about this character a lot when I'm like, especially because I know that you're a fellow Bill Simmons fan.
Yep, of course.
And and I know that you were from back in the day when he used to write
Grantland. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, when he actually used to write his own column. Mm-hmm. And he was the one who used to love to belabor the Fredo analogy, in your family,
yes,
or applied to any situation. Who's the Fredo? Who's the Michael? Who's the Sonny?
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like these are character archetypes that you can understand. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I looked at my own life, and I looked at my own way I look at things, and without acting on it, I was like, oh fuck, I'm the Fredo of my family, aren't I? Oh God. And then I took a step back, and I realized that that's actually I think I have a feeling that you and I have dramatically different opinions of this character, because I know he's a fuck up, and yes, he's a fuck up, right? But unless you've been a fuck up, you can't empathize with this character.
No,
unless you've resented someone in your family who you feel like got ahead of you, and he turns out to be the sweetest character, and Connie loves him in this way. And he's the only one at the end you see he's the only one who supports Michael, and he supports Michael all this way.
Mm-hmm. But
he's too dumb. He is about a click lower than he thinks he is.
Yes.
Which just
but self-aware of that enough to sulk. That's what I hate.
Okay.
That's what I hate. It's like, okay, if you're dumb, you're dumb. Okay. And if you know this, it's like, stop doing this. I hate this complex. And again, I suffer from these little complexes too. So I hate seeing it. And I hate the people that just are like, actually, I'm going to put a plastic bag of it over my head and tie it around, and it's going to kill me. And I don't like when people do that. That's why Beau is Afraid is such a great damn movie. If nobody's ever seen that, it'll rock your shit. Cause Ryan, be careful. It's scary. It's horrifying. But it's just it's just a guy basically slowly strangling himself with his affliction like that, and it's just, you're watching it the whole movie. He's a brilliant character. It's phenomenal. I mean, he makes, in my opinion, is the catalyst for everything in the movie. I mean, for anything to go right. They try to banish him in the first movie. It's like Vegas is like a punishment, right? They send him there. They're going, go to Vegas. We don't want to think about you. And then Michael's like, fuck, Vegas is popping. Fuck.
But it's not even that. It's that, and this is something oddly enough that we haven't really mentioned, despite both me, I maybe all three of us being, the most Catholic series of movies of all time.
Yeah, probably.
I think in terms of actually reckoning with that concept of temporal punishment, when you fuck up here, you may be forgiven for this. You confess the sin. Yeah, you're still gonna have to eat a lot of shit about it.
Of course.
And that was this Fredo, like the way that Fredo and Michael interact is that everyone's sin is pride. Could we agree that everyone's mortal sin is pride in the Corleone family? And it does all of them in the end. And Fredo gets his end in this way by just like, and again, it's one of those things where I take a step back and I look at like, oh, I relate to this Fredo character because I fucked up in life, or like things didn't go my way, or I didn't become the kingpin of everything that I wanted to be. And you're like, it would fucking rock to just drive people to the airport for Michael Corleone. That would be a sick ass job.
Of course.
And you just hang out on his
But you can't fumble the gun. You can't fumble the gun when your dad's getting shot. Like that's the thing is you ruin that aspect of it.
He was like, never that guy though.
He was not exactly.
So
what job can I give you? What job can I give you? Like, I can't do anything with you. You are Lenny from Of Mice and Men, but you're smarter than Lenny. Lenny's only thing he's got going for him is he's retarded and doesn't know what he's doing.
That's fucking awesome analogy.
Yeah, he gets killed. The same thing happens, but Michael does it from afar in a voyeuristic way. He watches it happen. Like I'm sorry. Like, and when Lenny can't betray George in Of Mice and Men. He can't do it. I mean, if he does, it's in the most indirect way ever. Like it's just betraying him like in the way a child does, where you're just like, oh, well, I left you by yourself, so of course you were gonna do something stupid. And you have the classic scene, which Pacino nails perfectly, the kiss on the lips, just Fredo, I knew it was you. Even though the whole time Michael is just going like, oh God, is it Fredo? The whole time you see it in his face, the whole movie, is it Fredo? And you have that line where Fredo can't even lie properly. He can't even corroborate his own lie because 20 minutes after saying he's never met Johnny Ola before, he's like, Johnny Ola told me about this place.
Oh, wait,
like that. And Michael's face is just like, you motherfucker. Like, I swear. Like, he's like, I knew you were doing some stupid shit out here, but you're really this. Because again, it's not even trifling. It's just you're this stupid, but you're aware you're doing something wrong, and it's like, and then just the I'm the older brother that's not even the older brother. It killed me. It killed me. And I was just like, and again, he's a great character. John Cazale gone way too soon. I mean, he's an amazing actor. Dog Day Afternoon, when he's basically the assassins that we see deployed by the left nowadays, that's essentially Dog Day Afternoon, where he's like, my boyfriend needs gender reassignment surgery. Again, why has nobody reclaimed that movie? I don't know. But
missed opportunities.
Yeah, missed opportunities. We might have to do a Dog Day Afternoon episode. But like when he's in that movie, he's great. He's in The Deer Hunter. He's just so good. But like the reason I hate that character so much is because he does it so good. He does it so well. He kind of has a face where you're just kind of like Jack's, like this Tim Burton person, like just this like really weird Tim Burton look. Like
the legendary Norwood.
Yeah. What is that?
How even is it possible physically?
It's like a shell of a nut. Is how.
And I think he fucked Meryl Streep.
He was. He told
Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
like
Woody Allen movie. Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why just never.
I mean,
pawn.
let's
always go for it on fourth down.
Let's all agree here that the Godfather trilogy is the ultimate celebration of the Norwood.
It is,
and the ultimate refutation of its inattractiveness to the opposite sex, because it's disproven time and time again.
It's not real. I mean, you look at Michael; he's got full head of hair, and there's no advantage to it other than
none.
What
he gets a cold, frigid wife who winds up being a pain in the ass.
For all three movies, the abortion scene is an absolute backbreaker. It's just like it's the miscarriage, and if you've never seen the movie, it will hit you like. I don't care what your view on that is. You're anti that no matter what. You could be the most pro-choice person of all time. There's no way you can walk
that back.
Yeah, you can't celebrate that. Yeah.
No.
How and this is Coppola mastered work here in terms of he puts you in a situation where it's like, oh yeah, he absolutely should have slapped the shit out of her.
Oh yeah.
And you have to reckon with that action.
Yeah.
And say, would I do that? Oh, of course I wouldn't do that. I'm like, are you sure about
You don't
that.
know what you would do. You don't know what you would do.
And how that went down, and it's like it was like she wanted that to happen to get out of that life. But the question is like, so was she just a tourist? Is Kay Adams just a tourist the whole time who just wants a free trip to Sicily?
Kind of.
She's not the right woman for him.
Oh yeah,
she's not the right woman for him.
She should be married to Connie's Kennedy husband.
Exactly. You know, we all, you know, just to take it to The Sopranos for a second,
Yeah,
anyone can shit on Carmela as much as they want, but she enters into that relationship knowing exactly who that man is.
Yep.
And what he came from.
She's mad that she knows how exactly what he is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So and because she is from it. Because she is from it, it is her family as well.
Yes.
And she's finally forced to confront the fact that she is that.
Yes. And doesn't want anything else.
Yeah. When she encounters Hugh's friend, his good friend from the army, who's an ambassador and a doctor and this, that,
right.
and the
One of the best episodes.
And she's like, all right, that's it. I know what I am.
Tony comes in with the sausage link. Norwood, once again in Norwood.
Exactly.
Comes in with the sausage links around the neck. It's over. That's what I want. That's what you want.
And that was like, again, and I loved that was like one of those things where I'm absolutely like, obviously Chase drenched in this series of movies, these novels, this understood this on whether, and then got to play with how much of it he touched, how much of it he just directly was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have Silvio Dante be one of the greatest Godfather 3 in person.
Yes.
But that little touch, and you mentioned it on The Sopranos one, how Carmela's last name does not end in a vowel.
Yeah.
How critical that is for her self-perception.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she interacts with Italians and people and everyone to whom she aspires.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. No, I agree. Any other thoughts on 2 before I let Ryan talk about 3 and why he likes it?
You guys fucking hate this movie, don't you?
No, I don't.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it when I first saw it, and on my rewatches, I would not rewatch that. Like that, I didn't like it. 3 is like
so.
No, 3. There's a lot of cool stuff where you're like, okay, I see what you're doing, and you can't even say Coppola doesn't have his fastball because he makes Dracula around this time, which is the best Dracula movie. It's stunning.
If you ever do that, have me on, because that movie is so.
We're gonna be doing. It would have to be with
or Anne Rice or Anne Rice movies. Any Dracula shit.
There you go. Yeah, but no, his Dracula is just like unbelievable. So he's like a beast at this time, and there's shreds of it, and I do think Al Pacino's Michael makes no sense to me. So in this, like just the shrieking diabetic Michael Corleone. My kitchen. Like I just it does nothing for me. Now all the Vatican stuff is really cool. I think the priest confession scene is great. There's a lot of really good scenes in it. The movie makes no sense. I think the script sucks. Like I think some of the lines are just awful, whereas we're coming off of like 1 and 2 where there's just no fat on the bone, and if there is fat, it's only to taste. You have this movie is just like I don't get it. I think the stuff people hate is Andy Garcia, and I think he's good in this.
I'm an Andy Garcia lover.
He's good.
He had like a 5 to 10 year period where he could do no wrong.
Black Rain, man.
Yes,
great.
Even if he was in some stinkers, I still would watch anything that he did because I like him.
Yeah, for sure.
He gets the honorary Italian pass despite being Cuban or whatever the hell he is.
Cubano.
Is he Cuban?
He is, yeah.
Damn.
He's from Miami. He's like,
he's I thought he was a Spaniard. I thought he was a Spaniard, like Sergio Garcia. I thought he was like related to him, like the golfer.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I had never seen 3. I watched it for this podcast.
Did not.
I'd never seen it because I had all the received opinions that it was so terrible. Why would you bother watching it? The Sopranos, they all go, "What happened there?"
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it not knowing anything. Nothing. Went in totally blank. I didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it, huh?
I didn't hate it, but but I also sat through like 3.5 hours of Megalopolis just because I was like, I'll go with this.
Is that bad?
Is that
as bad? Is that as bad as everyone says?
I haven't. I'm terrified to see it.
I'm terrified to see it because I love
Coppola. Obviously, I worship Coppola. I've been
right. So, like, I've made the mistake of expressing semi-positive opinions about this in spaces where it's not appreciated.
Okay, gotcha. No,
but my vetting measure is I sat there through however long it was, and it kept my attention.
Okay.
I'm like, that's okay.
That's enough for me to watch it. That's enough.
Right. So, like, if a movie could do that for me, because I am willing, as an artist, I will follow another artist on their flights of fancy to see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, I will give someone grace to explore their creativity in the medium of which they are a master. And even if I don't love what they come up with, I can still say they tried. So that's my sin for, sitting through Megalopolis and not immediately decrying it after I came out of it.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Culpa.
No, I will watch it.
Culpa.
I will watch it.
I fully intended to. I'm just waiting for, again, I need to cook up a real nasty hangover to watch it.
It helped that I saw it in a theater.
Yeah.
If I had
better,
so
watch it in the theater.
I may have been slightly hungover. I was staying with a friend of mine, so it could have been entered into the equation. But anyway, that was also the same attitude that I took into 3. I didn't know what to expect, so I just watched it and I saw what was going on. Does it compare in any way, shape, or form to 1 or 2? No. Is it obvious that this is something that Coppola was doing to fulfill a contract and get the fuck out of some kind of legal bind that he was in? Yes, absolutely. I know that a lot of the actors they wanted from 1 and 2 to show up in 3 didn't do it because they wanted too much money. They were like, "Why are you doing this?" So we get
Duvall's gone, dude. Yeah, Duvall's gone.
He wanted too much money.
His son is the priest. I did like that though. I like that one of his sons. He got in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was not expecting the cousin love. That was an immediate knee jerk no from me.
That's crazy. I mean, that is like that. Nobody talks about that.
This is another thing. Why do they not talk about these movies?
Yeah.
No one brings this up. I'd never heard that before.
No, and it's not implied either. It's like, you're my first cousin. It's like my first in my heart. Like,
yeah.
What? it's
and this is Andy Garcia, who's like, Pussy Hound #1 in the movie.
Sure. And Sofia Coppola, who still makes movies.
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing. And I could not love this movie more for everything that Coppola just attempted. Just honestly, even I don't care. I hope he had gambling debts or something.
Good things can come from contractual obligations. Good things can happen. Yeah.
Hated just some of the most batches. It's like, and it's been mentioned, and Glenn, I feel like you've mentioned, it's like appreciating things ironically is gay.
Yes, I agree. You earnestly like this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay. It is a collection of vignettes that Francis Ford Coppola could only direct that are so batshit off the wall beautiful and connected to the most convoluted plot that never really attempts to resolve itself. And I don't care. I was like, if you asked me to tell you what is the plot of The Godfather 3, I would tell you honestly. I've seen the movie literally like 70 times. I could not tell you.
No, I have no clue what's happening.
It does not properly resolve, except for it does. It resolves itself spiritually. And if you're invested in, I need to know all of the little Vatican machinations, which are all sick. And again,
that part's cool. Yeah.
So it has to be said. Everyone, like, it's weird. Twitter's a weird place. I've been on it for fucking ever, for
since 09. Since 09.
Oof.
And all of a sudden, like in the last 4 years, people are like, I'm converting to Catholicism.
Right. It's a big thing. Yeah.
Would you do that? And they'll tell you about it, and like they'll tell you about it at great length. It's like, I want more rules in my life and more
And the
structure
aesthetics.
I'm like, no, you don't. You want the fucking Godfather 3. You want
But nobody's seen it, Ryan. Nobody's seen this movie.
You want the Godfather 1, you want the Godfather 2, you want everything that ever these movies ever touched. It's like you want, again, and one thing I didn't mention talking about one that Vincent is, I believe you're a New Yorker by birth. Just when the priest in Godfather 1 goes from the beautiful Latin liturgy in the baptism scene, and then he speaks in English, and it's just the most beautiful Jewish voice you ever heard.
Isn't it Fauci? That's the Fauci priest.
No, that's
the other one.
Nellens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it looks like that they have a priest that looks just like Fauci. I was like, this is insane.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. But there's nothing about the plot that needs to make sense in this movie. And I don't care what Coppola's goal was, getting out of debt, doing whatever he did.
Yeah.
He created scenes. The Joey Zaza death scene, the Joey Zaza helicopter gone every
Oh my god.
Batman. It's like if I was Batman.
Wanting his ear. Like it's just how much cocaine can we budget for this scene?
Yeah.
And it's sick as fuck. Like Joey Zaza death scene where he's on a horse, a police horse. I'm like, I watched that scene like 50 freaking times before I did this. Just to like horsing.
I love it. Yeah, I mean it's true, but it's just like I'm like, this is the Godfather? Like a guy on a horse wink, like it turns into like a Clint Eastwood death. And I was like, what happened? I mean, I'm not against it. It's just sometimes I don't like my food to touch. And it's just like I will say one thing about Godfather 3 that I thought was great was the ending, which I did not see coming because I didn't remember how it ended because I hadn't seen it since. And you know, look, let's say it, Mary Corleone dies, and she is shot when we think Al Pacino is shot. Now, shooting Al Pacino there would be releasing him. That would be like it's not a bad thing if Al Pacino dies there. And Coppola, that's a master at work here, and he knows that's what his father got that. And the whole thing is he's becoming his father, but he's this caricature of his father now. He's yelling, he's flipping out on everything. He has these stupid health problems that actually have diagnoses. They're not just I'm old and whine.
Yeah, right. I have diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, grab my insulin, give me an orange juice, and he's just doing that the whole time. And so everything becomes like hyper real. Like you see behind the curtain and you see who's doing the Oz voice a lot of times. It's not this magical being that is Vito Corleone, and you realize it's very sobering that that's like actually as this industry progresses, and Michael's made more money than his dad could ever count. He gives 500 million.
He's like a billionaire.
Yeah, he gives 600 million to the damn Vatican.
Right.
He's got so much, and you realize the one thing he never gets is the death his dad got. Chasing around his grandchild, you know what I mean, in the thing, and released, and like this almost like natural Captain Planet death that his dad, that is like where you just become part of the garden, and you just like you think he's gonna get that, and really he has to watch his daughter die.
Vito gets the best, most satisfying,
love it,
warm and fuzzy feeling ending to any character in any mafia movie, any of them, because
you're right.
Because as you laid out, Glenn, he goes out exactly the way that any man would want to go out, in their home, surrounded by family, on a beautiful day.
Yeah,
with a smile on their face. Ultimately,
absolutely.
All of his sons are denied that. All of them.
Yeah.
And is it the sins of the father that they're all atoning for, or is it their own mistakes that they're atoning for? And they end that quote with that quote in Godfather 3. It's like what does the Sicilian say? May you live a long, cent'anni, may you live a long life, 100 years, right?
Yeah.
So you say that as a toast, cent'anni, 100 years. Michael gets that wish granted to him, but what does he gain? What has he lost by having that fulfilled? And his whole ambition was to legitimize the family.
Yeah.
And at every step, his efforts are beaten back by the retrograde elements of his own organization, the old school members of his family, guys like Frank Pentangeli, who are still wedded to the old ways of doing things, where you're going to crack skulls.
Yeah.
He is dealing with Hyman Roth, who, again, same mentality, where he wants to maintain the gangster element, whereas Michael is trying to legitimize and wash the money through casinos and this, that, and the third. He doesn't want to invest in a corrupt regime. He wants to keep things in the USA because he understands that he can control it. And then in the third film, what is the greatest wash of money that you could possibly do? Well, let's launder it through the greatest religious institution in the world, the Vatican.
Operation Gladio, dude. Yeah.
And Propaganda Due is even mentioned just briefly in this. And there's all these elements of these plots of these Vatican intricacies that never resolve themselves.
It's like a Dan Brown plot.
It becomes the Da Vinci Code, like halfway through the movie.
It genuinely does. And then but then it just boils down to that, and of course his confession scene, and of course, which is the 22nd. One more piece of Godfather trivia: oranges appear 22 times in the Godfather.
Wow!
And every time they do, they are portentous of death or betrayal.
Interesting.
And this is so when Michael Corleone asks the beautiful. Like, honestly, have you ever had a really good priest?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure.
Like, I had one. Actually, my favorite priest I ever had was a French guy, Father Philippe, and just like he reminded me so much of Cardinal Lamberto, where it's just like, yeah, you're a giant piece of shit, and Jesus loves you, and just do this. Just go for it. Go. I know you're gonna fuck up and not change, and you're probably gonna go kill more people. And actually, you can tell that he's kind of being like, you probably should. It might be a better thing for the church if you did.
Yeah.
You actually kind of do have even though you're this like godless mafioso who just wants to accumulate. No, actually, you do care about the church.
Yeah.
I can tell through this confession that that was Lamberto's condition for ratifying the Vatican deal. It's like, you're going to make your confession with me. I want to hear how you approach.
It felt like blackmail too. It felt like blackmail. Like to me, it felt like, yeah, tell me everything you do, and then he becomes the new pope, right? And of course he, dies in his. I thought he was.
You really thought that?
It just, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't resolve itself, so we don't know. But he becomes the new pope, and I'm thinking like, damn, Michael's in trouble right now. He just told the new pope everything, and they already did some shady deals, like so whatever. That's what I was thinking. And
awesome that you saw that.
Dan Brown plot.
Yeah, it's Dan Brown, dude. And so the but I will say to what you said, Vincent, about is it sins of the father or is it something else, about the children never getting the fate of their dad, or at least the circumstantial parts of the fate, I should say. To me, it's really interesting that you said that, because can Sonny ever be Vito? Absolutely not. Way too aggressive. We see that in the original drug deal, or the drug kind of inquiry at the beginning. It's just not going to happen. You're too loud. You're too brash. You say what's on your mind. You speak what you're thinking all the time. It's not going to happen. Sonny basically, Pavlov's dog ringing the bell, runs to his own death. It wasn't going to happen. Fredo, forget it. Yeah. Forget it. We already explained why that can't happen. Just absolutely midwit. The problem is Fredo's a midwit. Is his problem? Like he is very much the screaming bell curve guy in the top of the bell curve. Like and then Michael is like, well, he's got a chance. Of course, he's got a chance to be his dad. Absolutely. The problem is the modern construct of the mob cannot have a Vito Corleone. It's just they've outgrown a Vito Corleone. Like it's chasing it. It's like trying to make a record that's built for like a phonograph at this point. Like it's antiquated.
Like Tony says at the very first, in the opening monologue of The Sopranos, I feel like I got in on something at the very end.
Yeah, bought the top. Michael bought the top. Michael bought like Tom Brady buying the top of Bitcoin, and like you have so also to me it's like this is also being made by somebody, Francis Ford Coppola, who no director can become that now. They could be just as skilled as him. I don't doubt for a minute that there's somebody born with that kind of skill.
1000%.
And but at the end of the day, Francis Ford Coppola, let's talk about all the things he did. You just can't do what he did, even if you had the resolve. I mean, first off, you can't, as a struggling artist, he was living in Mill Valley, which is literally like Big Little Lies or no, it's not Big Little Lies. It's something else. There's like these beautiful like seascape places. It's like if you've ever been there, it's like, I feel like I'm in a kingdom, like a medieval kingdom of like Bay Area tech people. It's insane. And like he's sitting there toiling away, reworking this Mario Puzo script, like just the genesis of him. Even what he did for, to The Godfather, the studio goes, get some fucking wop to make a hit for us about the mafia movies for this much money. Like, they're just not going to do that nowadays. And then you see Apocalypse Now. I mean, the documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now is unreal. It's made partially by his wife, who's like, I hate this guy. Like this guy is a freak. And they stayed together, true Italian family. They stayed together, till the very end. She just passed, I think, not long ago, Eleanor. Oh, wow. But he put up his beautiful vineyard, which I think he eventually bought back for his winery, put up his beautiful vineyard for the money to make Apocalypse Now. The whole thing was an apocalyptic thing, like studio ship blown over by typhoons in the Philippines, I think was where they were filming it. The like typhoon wiped out their whole like house that they were that everybody was staying at. All of this massive stuff was crazy stuff was happening. The movie still gets made. It's a smash hit, and it's a great commentary on a war that a lot of people are not very fond of. And so a lot of that just couldn't happen anymore. So I do love the idea that he made Godfather 3. I love that it exists. I love that it's kind of a meta commentary that he doesn't even exist anymore in his current form. Like Coppola is at this point is playing his 20th century masters hits, which they're good. Like I said, Dracula. Right. 2 years later, Dracula. Masterpiece, like just incredible. So I guess what I'm saying is just like if you chase the past, you can only be inspired by the past. You cannot chase it, right? Mm-hmm. Like you will end up in a hell loop if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the boomer reckoning with the new millennium in that everything you just said, and Michael's his attempts to legitimize this thing fail. I put a question mark around that because he's still richer than King Croesus and more successful than his father ever could have imagined, but it's all for nothing, for ashes. It doesn't mean anything at the end. And was the legitimacy worth it, right? Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like this movie, and it's difficult to say from when it was made in 1990, I believe it came.
Same year as Goodfellas, which also kind of hurts it because Goodfellas is just so much better. Yeah,
yeah. Right. I mean, Goodfellas obviously immaculate.
Yes,
but like, it almost felt like, I'm not quite sure, and maybe maybe my perspective on this is tainted by having watched The Sopranos, which is all the way like on the tail end of
the
mafia.
Yes,
they
caught the last rise of the stock chart.
It almost feels like wish casting, like in that way that like, oh, we're going to present organized crime as the good guys. They're the ones who are keeping the crime out of your streets, actually. The crime that might affect you as a regular law-abiding citizen or whatever. And it had this feeling where it was like, oh, of course, the mafia will become the most, or to be jockeying for position, to be the most powerful people on earth, and will be this force for good and for order or whatever. And it was just already it was already dead. And had been maybe for
Weekend at Bernie's. At Bernie's, just carrying around a corpse. Like it's sad. It's sad because everyone says return. It's like, no, just keep the same mindset. Like, and don't give up on that. Like, I know everybody's got their take on like Tucker, but like there was one thing that somebody said was he was like really. Like he was saying things that were true about like it's impossible to buy a house nowadays. It's impossible to do this. It's impossible to do that. It's like, yeah, but don't say it's impossible. You know what I mean? Like you're probably right. You know what I'm saying? But like you don't want a black pill. But at the same time, there's a different form of blackpilling. It's like, I just want to be this guy from 1937. And it's like, well, that's a different form of blackpilling. And Michael is clearly chasing what his dad was all the time, like constantly. He just is. He even subconsciously, he might even though he's expanded, like you said, he's fucking with the Vatican. I mean, stuff that his dad would never even think was ever possible. But if his dad could see it, he'd be like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You're trying to either be me or outdo me, when really it's like, man, what if you just became a good father?
That was his whole dream for his kids, was get out of the business.
Yeah.
Don't go to college. I want his dream. He tells Michael, he's like, I saw you as a senator, right? Someone who is respectable, legitimate.
And of course, the first thing that Michael says to him back is, "Oh, so I could just be another one of the pets in Avante."
Yeah,
which is one of the underlying themes and it's more so explored in
just a favor here and there, Mike.
Which is like this this concept of pets in Avante is like, for some reason, the people like Vito Corleone, and from his own experience, and every Italian in his shoes, is you're coming to understand, suffers under the thumb of legitimate authority and needs to create their own parallel system of control, of family, and they have this innate distrust of being a part of the legitimate world. Just because they could not have reached that without killing people, without murdering their enemies.
Well, and
extortion.
Yeah, and they take and that comes from Sicily and South Italy, because the pets on Avante, they were all pieces of shit, and it was a very feudal system, and your local authority were looking to do this to you. For people listening, I have my thumb pressing down. So the only alternative was to create that parallel system of, like you just said, Ryan, authority and law and order, or lawlessness. But anyway.
Yeah. So, you guys are right. One last thing I wanted to say was in Godfather 2, I have to give a shout out to Tom Hagen for one of my favorite parts, is when the senator clearly tries to alpha Michael, and he's like, I think you're a greaseball piece of shit. You guys think you're coming in here and doing this and this. And then you just hear Tom Hagen's like, I got to go get to Carson City real fast, and he just goes in the car, drives down to the brothel, and he just has the like, oh man, look what you did, Senator.
Wow,
had a girl die.
Yeah.
And I love the senator. He's just like, we do this all the time. We tried this a couple times before, man. Like, it's so good. And I just love Robert Duvall's face. Like, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe that this happened. Anyways, this girl has no family. I mean, the only people who know about it is me and you, really. So if we want to keep it that way, and then all of a sudden he gets, Michael gets this. I loved it. That scene deserved its own sign. So,
and that's when you get, and understandably why you should kind of hate Fredo, is like, hey, you are actually doing mafia shit by running this brothel
outside of the family.
It was his own, actually Fredo came through for the family in this instance.
He did. No, that part is true. No, I mean, it's not to say he wasn't effective in Vegas. That's not what I mean. It's just he is effective.
He never knew his own place, where it's just like, hey, you should run the Mickey Mouse nightclub.
Yeah,
that actually can be important to us.
Do you ever see a guy? Okay, this is what Fredo is. Do you ever see a guy, like, as a coworker? Do you ever work with a guy where you're like, hey, let me help you with that? And they're like, no, I got it. And you're like, you don't have it. Like, I know you don't have it. They're like, dude, I got it. Don't even worry. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, dude, can you just go fast? Like, this machine never does this shit, but it did it this time. And you're in your head, you're like, oh, the thing I told you was going to happen if you didn't let me help you. And like realizing it's like, I know you can't do this, but why are we going through the formalities of me trusting you to do it? It actually makes things worse. And that's what that reminds me of.
It's like dealing with a child.
Exactly. I can do it. I can open it and they spill spaghetti sauce all over the kitchen. Yeah, like just that shit.
Everyone under the age of 25 and over the age of 55.
Yes. Horseshoe theory for sure. Right. Boomer Zoomer horseshoe theory. But yes, guys, thank you again. This was a sponsored episode. Thank you to Ryan, because this episode
Thank you
is,
to Ryan.
again, it's one of those things, like, I wasn't thinking about covering it, but I love it and I have many things to say about it. So that's kind of like, in my opinion, what'll end up being the best use of the sponsored episode platform is to be like, Glenn probably really likes this. I've heard him talk about this. I've heard him do this before. But, again, it takes a lot for me to go, yeah, we'll schedule an episode about this. But now you have that option. Go to rcnow.org. All the tiers are there. Just coming up on the episode tier, we have one on The Core, which is a movie from 2003 starring Aaron Eckhart. It can be anything like that. And then also we have a Metallica episode. Somebody paid for us to do a Metallica episode, which I'm very excited about too. Again, a band I love, but I just don't really talk about that much. So these are, we will make it happen. And again, the door is always open. No pressure. You can always come on with us and chat with us if you sponsor that episode. So Ryan, thank you again. Vincent, thank you for doing this, because you were you were very much like this. It was like he has to be there. He has to be there.
I did. I needed you. I needed your opinion on this. I needed your sage wisdom. I needed one of the best critics of things, understanders of things. It was just such an absolute.
You're too kind. I wish I had more to say. I feel like you two really thoroughly hit on the points that needed to be put out there. So,
I think we needed it. But on that note, guys, everybody have a safe week. We'll catch you guys next time.